What's good, everybody? Timeless Traveler here, and welcome back to my Let's Play. And you don't realize just what you've done to a world until you pick up some wings and you fly around and you just scope out the area, and it made me realize that we need more buildings. The problem is I just don't know what to add. But we'll come to that at some point further down the line. We'll add more buildings as time goes on. But now that we are flight capable, I think, like I mentioned last episode, now we have a new thing to worry about. Until it is resolved, it's always going to be a major stressor in my personal life. We need a creeper farm. And so I've got a location down. We're actually going to have it over there. And because we're on such a high sim distance, it will actually be running while we are out and about over here, I think. I may have to put an on and off switch, because if it's running while we're over here doing everything else, it also serves as a minor level XP farm, because we're going to be using a trident killer with a looting 3 sword. So that is something to consider. I may just put a lever on the trident killer so we don't have to worry about lag. But what is different about this creeper farm is that we are in 1.17. And we are going to be using technology that we never had available to us at any point in Minecraft history. Yes, we are going to be using the tinted glass. So mob farms, I don't know if anyone quite understands just how amazing tinted glass is yet. Think about this. All of the mob farms that we have been doing, think about how many resources you have spent building the roof above every single mob farm in order to keep the light level down. Think about how far those roofs have reached out. You have to go about 7 or 8 blocks past the farthest edge of your spawnable platforms, and then you just do that all the way around. And depending on the type of mob farm, you could easily spend, you know, a good shulker, up to half a shulker to a full shulker of blocks just for the roof. And now, because of 1.17 and because of tinted glass, that is no longer an issue, because we don't even need a roof anymore. All we need is tinted glass, and there will be no light leaving. So I had my second account just chilling in this area. So we have 3 amethyst clusters, amethyst geodes, that are, you know, all within the same sim distance. So that means we have 3 geodes that are able to fully mature and develop, and it all is such a beautiful sight. Just look at all of this. We have 1 small geode and 2 large geodes. After about 2-3 hours, a harvest of clusters yields us about 4 or 5 stacks of clusters, which with a fortune 3 pick will give me about a full shulker of crystals, which is a decent amount of tinted glass. We are going to need a lot for the upcoming project. So I'm going to take care of this real quick. I'm going to empty out all 3 geodes, and then we will talk about more creeper farm plans. Considering that it would probably have taken at least 2 in real life days minimum for this many clusters, and the fact that I got this in about 2-3 hours in real life, it's well, it's much more profitable to harvest these manually. We can't automate the amethyst farms unless we reach a point where they allow us to silk touch these, or silk touch the budding amethyst, and then we can line it all up, and then we could do some sort of harvesting that way. At this point, it's so much better to just collect these with silk touch and just wait in an area for a few hours. And then also, if you automate it, you can't do this. Listen to the jingle jingle. Isn't this the greatest sound you've ever heard in a Minecraft game? Like, listen to this. We're going to completely cover the walls or completely cover the floors in purple, and then we're going to see just how many shards we get. Oh, it is just great, just running on all of this lovely purple. Place your bets, everybody. How much do you think we're going to get out of this? We got fortune 3, and this is what was it, 5 stacks, 5.5 stacks of clusters. Let's go ahead and let's break this all down. Just from those 5.5 stacks alone, we have almost a full double chest. Now the ratio is 4 shards and 1 glass makes 2 tinted glass. So it's basically a 2-1 ratio. So if we cut this in half, we have about a shulker and 2/3. No, we have about, yeah, we have about a shulker's worth. We can fill this chest up with more tinted glass easily. And I forgot, I actually have a little bit more, but we'll hold on to that for decoration potentially. We'll bust it out and break them out if we need more. Now, we should be fine with glass and tinted glass, but another thing that is different about this farm, this was a patch that came out back in like 1.16, sometime earlier this year. We typically, mob farms used trapdoors because it was one of the smallest blocks possible that mobs would just recognize as a full block and then just fall right off down into the kill chambers. And then coral fans, there was a patch that allowed us to farm coral fans again. So now we switched back to using coral fans. So we actually have to create for the first time a little coral fan farm. We just need about a stack. No, not a stack. I'm sorry. We need a full shulker box. Where are we? This is not the warm ocean. We need to go to another 300 blocks. We need about a good shulker box full of coral fans. So we are going to put together a nice little coral fan farm, and with any luck, we have a full shulker of bone meal. With any luck, that will be just enough to give us all the coral fans that we need. So I need 28 stacks of coral fans. And after an entire shulker box of bone meal on this little coral fan farm, I have only produced, I think it was 14 full stacks. Now, mind you, we don't need these corals. We need the coral fans because mobs will recognize them as a full block, but there is absolutely zero collision to them. So they will literally fall straight through them. We need 28 stacks of those. So, yeah, this is, I need more bone meal, and I don't have any more bone meal. I literally used all the bone meal from my iron village, and that was an accumulation of like, weeks of AFKing at that location. So what we're gonna do, because it hasn't been patched yet, we're gonna stick a couple 0-tick kelp farms, load them up into composters, and then hopper them into the dispensers here, and that way we'll have continuous supply of bone meal coming in here, because we actually are going to need coral fans for a much larger creeper farm in the future. So I will be back to go get some resources gather time to put together the 0-tick kelp farm. Just a pro tip to everybody: if you are building up in the air, make sure you have a water bucket, because if you can't get what's underneath, there's not much you can do unless you have a water bucket, and that way you can go down the stream and place things underneath. Now, mind you, it is a little bit more tricky, but it is very effective. Building this in reverse was not what I had in mind, but I eventually kind of figured it out. When you're building from above, it's a lot more difficult, which is why it's so important to have a bucket on you at all times. Now, admittedly, probably the ugliest farm I have ever built, but it's not, you know, it's not going to be at the main location, so it's okay. Just doing a quick final inspection, making sure that all the sand has been covered. We don't want any sand exposed to any air blocks, otherwise it messes up the entire 0-tick process. I think it's all clean. I think everything's good. So all we got to do is flick the switch and let's see what happens. That was a complete failure. I have no idea what went wrong, but okay. Scratch building this in reverse. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna make a platform for us to build on, covering the whole chunk, roughly so. And then we're gonna build from the bottom up like we probably should have done from the start. Okay, if what I put together earlier was the ugliest farm I've ever built, this is probably the second ugliest farm I built. However, it has been properly built from the ground up, and again, it was a lot easier. Now, so we have 8 composters here, 8 0-tick cells, right? So we got 4 of them connected into one hopper line. That's going to go all the way into this dispenser. And then, of course, you guessed it, the other 4 are going to go into a second hopper line going into this other dispenser. So if all goes according to plan, everything's chunk aligned and it's not patched to my knowledge, it should work. If it doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. let's go ahead and wait. Just gonna make sure. Is there any exposed sand? That doesn't count because the hopper is right there. That is unavoidable. However, maybe we could probably get away with putting solid blocks there. No, let's see what happens. If it doesn't work, we'll have to rule that as the possibility. We'll put solid blocks here and then just hope the current takes it over into this one. Okay, let's give it a go. Well, that's good and that's bad. It's bad because nothing happened, but it's good because that tells us the clock works and this does not break. So we have all the sand secured. What I forgot to do was connect this up. There should be redstone right here. Okay, I think we have it all set up. Okay, now let's give it a go for real this time. And I think it's been patched. Oh no. I don't know what we're gonna do about this now. And Eureka. Oh, we got it, everyone. So I had a feeling that this was the issue because I've had this is very, I don't know if this is bug rock or what. So there was something odd about how this was configured. So while in the last clip, we literally have a torch tower that was in this section instead of this one, putting the torch off to the side and then towering up from there somehow changes the whole process. Yeah, I have no answer for it. I hope maybe someone like Silent or Nexus could answer a question of that degree. This is beyond my knowledge. But what is not beyond my knowledge is that this is now working. We have bone meal. Yes, let's stack up here real quick. Let's take a look. Yes, we have bone meal. It's all being loaded in. Now, admittedly, this is going to be a little slow, which is okay, but we have a decent supply that is ongoing. I'd say it probably is going to give us, let's see, one cell I think they say gives about 1,200 an hour. Different videos offer different rates. I think it really depends on what you're running on, realms, local servers, what console you're running on. If you're running on PC, there's a lot of things factor in. So I don't know what the rates are. I'm not going to go into that right now. But all I know is we finally have unlimited bone meal, and I'm going to take full advantage of this and just let it run for a while. So we will be back. Hopefully by that time we will have more than enough coral fans. And with the bone meal farm running in the back, powering this entire thing, we have made a very large amount of coral fans. And the results of all of that work, we have almost 2 shulker boxes full of coral fans, which is far more than we need. We will use what's left for an even larger creeper farm as time goes on. Now it's time to gather the rest of the supplies. So I decided not to show the process behind the rest of the resource gathering simply because the amount of resources that I needed was far more than I could have actually anticipated. Even though this is based off of a design that I made and the tutorial is up at the top, the materials list, I'm going over it and I realized, wow, this is a lot, because this is literally the very first time that I am building this farm in survival. I put together this farm in creative, tested it out multiple times, and I eventually came up with the materials list for it, and it sounds great. It sounds like it's not a lot when you're doing a tutorial for everyone in creative mode, but then when you actually have to build this in survival, you realize just how exhausting it is. I spent the past 2 almost 3 days gathering resources to get this put in motion, and I had to smooth out a few more technical aspects to it because we are on I actually decreased my simulation distance to kind of prevent additional spawning from happening, other mobs. We want to make sure we maximize our surface and cave spawns. So what we got to do is I got to set this up. We're going to go up to about Y200, and this is just the right height from the AFK spot to the entirety of the height of the collection area itself, that we won't have to worry about exceeding the build height. And then, of course, after 1.18, things are going to get much, much easier in that regard. So now we have all the resources. I've gone over the list multiple times. I've got everything calculated, where we're going to set it up, a few modifications, a couple resource changes because of 1.17. We're using things like tinted glass instead of like those massive roofs that I mentioned before. Same thing with the fences. So go ahead, cue the music, enjoy the show, and here we go. Now, would you just look at this view? Aside from all the gunpowder and the little bits of XP, this gives us a very, very nice viewpoint, I think. But I know you really just want to see the farm. So let's take a look here. I have been letting it AFK for, over a total of probably 3, maybe 4 hours. We got very good rates so far. Let me go ahead and turn this back on. So we've got a whole shulker box here. I had a little problem earlier. So I actually, on like the 5th layer, I did one entire half without trap doors. So, and that prevents all other mobs except for creepers from spawning. So after I came back after a while and checked my rates, I had all these bones, arrows, rotten flesh, and because I was running it on hard, I had all this armor. So I had to boot up a creative copy, figure out what I did wrong, and then came back over here and fixed it. But when all that was going on, I managed to filter out about a shulker box of gunpowder. And we also have about another shulker box, maybe 2 in total. We got these things scattered all about because we got a hopper line just going down every single one of them and filling them up somewhat randomly. But it's okay. It's okay. We are yielding about, I'd say 20 stacks per hour, which is actually very good. This can run on sim distance 4. We are running on sim distance 8, which is exactly why we are up so high. To be specific, from Y70, we started building, I think, 128 blocks above. That way, while we can see everything, nothing is actually being simulated. There is the ticking area is all around here. So just creepers are loaded up and dying right now. And compared to my last tutorial video, you can take a look right over there real quick. We did a few changes. Specifically, we don't have the roof anymore because, well, you don't need the roof. We have the tinted glass, and I think it looks really good. Just look at that. And then I also discovered that, I think I mentioned this before, initial testing, I had a layer of tinted glass down where you see the ice. This is to allow surface spawns because this is to make use of all available spawns. Bedrock, we struggle with spawning and all that stuff. So we have to really be strategic in how we build a farm if we want to maximize our rates. But I had a layer of tinted glass down there because it's a transparent block, right? So, I thought surface spawns were going to spawn on top. No, apparently mobs will not spawn on tinted glass, but they will in fact still spawn on ice. So I got the surface spawns all around here, and then everything underneath is the cave spawns. We need lots of gunpowder because at some point I would like to do some sort of do some perimeter mining or whatever it's called, where we just completely decimate an area all the way down the bedrock. So we want to produce high quantities of gunpowder this time. And I'm having this problem. I don't understand what it is. Let's go in here real quick. I do not understand why there is a spider here, because how we have this laid out, there is not supposed to be anything spawning except for creepers. Literally every single spawnable block has these trap doors to prevent zombies and skeletons from spawning. And then we have the buttons arranged in this pattern along with the holes. And because of that, spiders are not supposed to spawn. Let me come over here real quick. See if I missed a button. Maybe it's me. I hear another one. So, and they can't go anywhere either. So luckily they should be able to just despawn. But it's still an issue. It still affects the rates. So I would like to know how to fix it. Maybe because these are recognized as full blocks. So this gives them a 3x2 space to spawn on. I don't know. I have to figure this out though. We'll investigate it at some point later. But we have a very successful creeper farm, everybody. And most importantly, we have plenty of rockets. Yes. Oh, look at that beautiful dive. But we're going to leave it there, everybody. That is going to be the end of today's episode. Thank you all so much for watching. I am Timeless Traveler, and this was my Let's Play. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode and seeing the progress of this lovely, lovely creeper farm, as well as the gathering of other resources and some of the slight mishaps that have occurred. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to leave a like down below, comment if you want, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date on all of my future videos. We've got a lot going on in the episodes to come, so stay tuned for all of that. And with that said, again, thank you all so much for coming. You all take care, have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next episode.